Hello. I wanted to talk a little bit about gear. There are a lot of gear guides out there, and we can talk for hours about gear. I do feel there's one aspect that nobody talks about, or I haven't found anyone speak about, which is gear management. And I would perhaps try to give one way to try to manage your things. I'm still trying to figure out how to manage things on my own. So, what you don't want is clutter. And there are only so many filters in game that can help you look at your items. So one thing is, for example, max equipped items. So for me, this is clutter. I have to handle this. Now I haven't looked at them, but I will at some point. But so what you want is clutter free. So there are certain sets that I have still clutter here, but others I don't. So for example, for health pieces, you see I have nothing that is not maxed. It means I decluttered my inventory. And that is what you want. You want your inventory decluttered. And I would suggest doing it set by set as it's easier to look at pieces. Right, so there's a piece I didn't look at yet, so didn't even see I have that. Great, I'll look at it a little bit later. This is from Prongo, I guess, or something else. Right, so I did decide to craft some HP helmets. So let's take a look together. Now, about decluttering. This is basically what you should do. Once you have a session uh, where you do some hunts or whatever you get pieces of gear, you should just get in and filter them right away. So you have a few pieces left. And if there's a piece you're not quite sure of, you can make another clutter problem in your storage. So I had like 500 pieces here and I decluttered them. But if you sometimes you're not sure if it's worth going for a piece of gear, you can leave them at a higher enhancement level. I don't recommend doing this, but if you're really not sure if it's worth it, you can leave it here and then you'll probably just have more work. But I don't recommend doing this. Or if there are pieces of gears that you don't need immediately, but you would like to upgrade later, you should send them here. Any other pieces you should just upgrade or check quickly. So what is checking? Check. So all of these pieces, and you can think, oh, some of them are better than others. It's not true. All of these pieces are trash. All right. These pieces are nothing more than trash that might have potential. These pieces are useless until you get them to plus 15. So you should check pieces. Again, many guides on this, but basically you need to consider a few things. Imagine I had no resource limit. I would just upgrade all these pieces, every single piece I ever get, and then I would look at them at plus 15 and delete all the garbage and keep the good stuff. But there are limitations. There are charm limitations or powder, costs to enhance. There are limitations in gold. It costs gold to enhance. And it takes time to do this. So because of that, we'll be checking pieces, and people have different criteria for when a piece is good or bad. I would argue that going to plus 3 is worth it if in some cases, or in a lot of cases, but not for all pieces. So I would just say there are two types of checking. And then there's something in between, and I would suggest for beginner players never to do the in between until you have a good idea what you're doing. So the two types of checking is checking for only one stat. That is usually done for speed checking, as it is probably for this piece. For example, this piece, any combination of stat is basically useless for me, except if I roll 4 times into speed, right? If I get effectiveness, it's useless for me. If I get attack, it's kind of useless for me. Critical damage is kind of useless for me. Actually, critical damage can be good for HP, but not really. It's also a low roll. So how do you speed check? People will tell you it's okay to forgive one roll. I agree. What I would add though is it depends how many resources you want to spend. um, and to consider the piece potential. So in some cases, I will actually, if I don't roll speed at +3, I will actually stop in some cases. So let's just check this piece. So we go to +3 and we see what we get. It's not speed. Now, at this point, a lot of people would just, oh, people wouldn't be at this point. People would just go to +6 and just keep going. I always check to +3, and I recommend you always check to +3 because maybe I would also be okay with checking the crit damage stat or something else. There might be two stats that you are happy for the piece to roll into if it's mostly into that stat. Um, and also, for example, if this was a +2 speed, I guarantee you I would not roll anymore. The quality of the roll and the probability of having good speed rolls is just not worth the cost for me. Some people will keep rolling because they will tell you, oh, it can still be a +20 speed. Yes, it can be, but long term it will be very expensive, and I decided I generally don't want to do it. Now, because this is a 4-speeder, I don't care. It's fine. I'll just take the loss here for the effectiveness. However, if it was a 3-speed, for me, I would maybe consider. I would maybe trash it. Honestly, this already looks like a trash piece for me, uh, and I just want to trash it. It's an HP set, so the speed is not likely to land into, and it's just not worth it. For a speed setter, maybe I would go down to 3 speed before going to +6. But for the sake of this video, we'll go and show you that uh, your chances of rolling 4 times into speed are now just garbage. So this is already a garbage piece. Any resources you put into it now is just extra wasted resources. There we go. It's gone. Useless piece. I could have just stopped earlier. Why waste the resources? Now you say, oh, of course, it could have rolled into speed. Yes, it could have. But the cost is much, much higher. Ideally, you want to roll into your desired stat on the first try. So this is the one type of checking pieces. It is checking one specific stat. And it's very expensive to do it. So you should cut your losses very, very early. Because you only want one stat, it's very unlikely to go into that one stat several times. So check it with the initial cost just for level 3. Just check one by one and cut your losses immediately once it doesn't do what you want. Okay, then there's a secondary type of checking. And that is you check a piece when it has 3 desirable stats and 1 useless stat. Okay, so a piece that has 3 stats that I'm okay rolling into and 1 stat that I'm not okay rolling into. Now, I don't really have an ideal piece here for that. These two are the closest for that. Uh, so let's look at this one. I currently am thinking I kind of want a piece that has health and attack, speed and effect resist. And I want that piece for a tanky Hecate. Resistance is not important. I just want as much health as I can get, as much attack as I can get, and some speed. Now this doesn't have speed. Effectiveness is completely useless. So this is I'm checking this piece for any stat that is not effectiveness. So I check for 3 stats. I always go to +3. Now honestly, if this goes into effectiveness, I would mostly just stop there. And if it starts with effect resist, maybe I'll stop there. But this is fairly high rolls. Okay, this is already terrible. However, this is not checking one stat, so my chances are higher. Now, if it ever goes into effectiveness again, I'm probably done, unless it's just full HP effectiveness. So, like, I adjust my expectations, but then I need to know what I want. Although HP and effectiveness is not very useful. So if we go again into effectiveness, I just trash this. I'm done. I'm done with this piece. Screw it. Screw that crap. So you see, started with great stats, but it's a trash piece. I hate this. Actually, I want to extract this because I'll need more HP. So let's look at this one. Here, this is not ideal. This is kind of the in-between situation. Flat defense is not good to roll into, but it's okay. And Effect resist is not really useful, but speed crit chance, effect resist, nah, it's a little bit not ideal. But it has speed, so we probably check for speed at least. We might also check for effect resist. So we might check for one specific stat for one of these two. We can also check just for crit chance. So this piece, although is the case where we only check for one stat, the three different potentials for one specific stat that I want. Because if it rolls a lot into speed, I'm happy with this piece. If it rolls a lot into FRES, I'm happy with this piece. And if it rolls a lot into crit chance, I'm happy with this piece. So this is the in-between situation, right? I'm not really happy if it rolls into defense. If it starts into defense, I might just crash it, but I'll see how I feel. Crit chance, it's a mid-roll. We'll keep going. Okay. Okay, so once you reach 2 plus 6 and you already have 2 rolls into a desired stat, it is generally cost effective to keep going if you only have one bad stat. If you're just checking for one stat, it's just going to be more expensive and you're going to get disappointed. But very quickly, if you're at plus 6 and you decide to go to plus 15 here, you have about 15% chance to roll here 2 more times or 3 more times. A lot of people yell Korea. I'm not going to do it. I still check one by one. So let's go. But this piece might be useful already. Look, this piece is a piece that I'm taking to plus 15 already. Even though how are the rolls? We can check the quality of the rolls. So 3, 4, or 5 is for crit chance. I have 18. The mid roll is 4. 4 times 4, because it's the base roll plus 3, 16. This is above 16, so I'm above average. This is already a piece I'm probably keeping, even if it rolls. I'm taking the chance that on plus 12 it might roll off, and on plus 15 it might roll off again. But I'll take the chance. I think it's worth it. Now I'll just go to plus 15, even if it rolls off. Like, doesn't matter which stat it lands into. I decided. I will do something else, which is just mitigating my powder waste. And this only has to do with the chances for double XP and chances so for good and great enhance. I just don't want to go over. So when I'm going for the final stages, I usually do this. I just go for half. So 126. That way, if I get a great success, I won't waste resources. We'll land it into speed, so I mean, it's fine. Let's see if we ever land on a great and good. No, we didn't land it yet, but it does happen often enough that it's worth it for me. Now, this is very time consuming, and I don't recommend you do this. And at some point, you just shouldn't be doing it. So I'm already here, might as well. There you go. We had a good intent. So we saved a few charms. We saved two powder. But other time you'll save a whole charm. Do this only if you have time. And look, we checked for, we had 3 potential stats. We checked for crit chance. 5 times 4 is 20. I am slightly above average here and just average here. And these stats, while not great, they're still useful. So there are HP scaling damage dealers where this crit chance will be useful. So I'm happy with this piece. I will probably reforge it later. So we are decluttering. That's the main goal. We want to get rid of our inventory of non-max level pieces. Okay, and if this was a bad piece, I might just delete it on the spot. If I don't have many pieces of gear and I just don't have many pieces with this combination of stats, I'll just keep it, even if it's bad, because it will be useful later on. Right, so let's see if there's anything else we want to check. Here, I mean, I can check for defense. This is a terrible piece. Like, I don't care about it. It's like, it's this or nothing. Done. I want to get these back because I'm going to be using health. Actually, not for helmets. Right, anyway. Here, again, crit chance or attack, because I do want attack for my Hecate with health. So this is a one stat check. This is done. I'm done. I don't want this. This is already bad. This is too much of a waste of time for me and resources. Here we have health, defense. So this combination is good. Effectiveness not so great. So this is the in-between situation. It's 50-50. I don't recommend doing this because eventually it tends to cost more. Let's use some of these just one by one. There you go. We got a good success chance. So we saved the whole charm. Effectiveness. Okay, not great. So at this point, honestly, I'm inclined to get rid of it. If I had 3 desired stats, I would keep going. But because there's only 2 stats I want, would I do it if this was speed? Maybe I would. You know what? I'll keep going for one more, but it's 50-50 is not good chances. I would prefer to take 75% chance. At +9 is generally worth it. So now that we're at +9, I would generally keep going in such a situation. +6, it's again long term. It's gonna cost you. Okay, so now we risk it. It's 50% chance of having a good piece or a whatever piece at 25% chance. So we'll go to half, again to account for a great success chance, so we don't spend too many resources now that we're near the end line. If you exceed the XP, you will get refunded in powder, but you will not get refunded the gold. And also powder costs more gold to enhance with than charms. So for comparison, I think it's like 60% or something, or 70%. This is 1 charm. The equivalent in powder would be 15 powder. So 13 for 50. And you see this is like over 60% increase. So it's not great. Anyway, so we're going for half. We got a good chance, so a good enhanced. We go to half, and at some point I should stop doing this because it's, you know, the diminishing returns and what all. So I'll just go for a good chance instead of great. There you go, and I got the good, but I was missing one powder, but I'll get it here. It's fine. Right, so this is a usable piece. I was lucky. Many times I would not keep going, just because the 2 stats kind of useless now. Like this is going to be useful and useless, and this is going to be useless. If I ever mod this, I'd probably mod the effectiveness, and I'm stuck with attack because this is just not a useful set for what I want. I'm looking for effect resist. I can change effect resist here, but I'll get more value from this one, and this is kind of useless. Right, and we are done. We decluttered our equipment. So, how do I know when pieces are good? Now that I have this decluttered, I can compare what I don't yet have with what I already have. So I want HP pieces, the ones that I already have, and I want to check the ones I have with attack and health. I'm looking for a Hecate piece that has both health and attack, and it's a helmet, so it can have both. So I want only to show me pieces that have these 2 stats together. And you know what? Let's sort them by attack first and health second. I only have 1 piece with these stats. So, very unfortunate, I didn't get what I wanted. But let's check for the pieces that only have attack or health. And again, we sort by attack and health, yeah? Let's sort by only 1. Let's sort by attack. Now I have a 21% attack here and 6% attack here. So I don't have many pieces with attack on HP boots, on HP helmet. Let's sort them by HP. 24. Okay, let's remove the attack stat. What is the highest HP I can get on a piece by itself? 24%. So, not great. What about defense and health? And I want only pieces that have exactly both. So now I have this piece low. Let me see if I can sort this by defense second. I guess it doesn't do much, huh? Defense and health. So this is how I can check the quality of my pieces. So as you can see, I don't have very high stats, but this is the piece that I rolled. On average, it is better than what I already have for this stat combination. But it's maybe not quite enough based on what I want. So in this case, I could try to look for more pieces with this stat combination. And because I decluttered, I know what pieces I'm missing. Of course, defense is not possible for swords. So I can see how many pieces in each category I have with health substats, and then I can think, oh, I have plenty swords, I have plenty helms, plenty chests, but not a lot of helms. So I can focus on trying to get an HP helm when I craft here. So I can focus on helms instead. And I can do this, right? Another piece, I have attack and defense and speed. We'll check this piece. So this will be the last piece I check. What was the point of this video? Is declutter your inventory so you can make good decisions. When this is cluttered, it's going to be hell to go through everything. Now here I'm looking for speed, defense, or attack, but the combination is not very useful for me. I don't care about the effectiveness here. Could care if it's effectiveness and speed. And we're running low on powder, so I'm just going to do this. We check, we get defense, we will keep going, and this is, what is 41, so 45 here. Attack, defense, it's not a great combination, but it can be useful, so I'll keep going here. And it's not effectiveness, so worst case scenario, these are raw stats that eventually I can put on a character, even if I waste either the attack or the defense, even though it is a health helmet. Right, so we go for 4590 here for powder. We have attack, so it looks like it's an attack piece for Hecate, as I was thinking. And now we begin to half it, just because I don't want to spend my charms randomly. Okay, we'll go for 2. Now, there we go. We have a great success chance. So it's defense attack. Not great. I wanted HP, but this is a piece that dodged the bad stat. So I'll probably find some use for it, but you might not, depending on the pieces you have. And note that now this is becoming quite expensive. Charms are not easy to come by. I wouldn't do this lightly. I'm not doing exact math, but something for the half XP here. It's too much. Let's go for 2, about half XP. This video is there we go, a great success chance. So, attack defense is fine. Some bulk, some attack, some flat attack for some heroes on an HP helm. It's not great, it's not terrible. Have a good speed, effectiveness. The last thing I want to say is don't be eager to delete pieces with not ideal stats, especially as a new player. Like, this is not enough HP helmets, okay? And the reason is you shouldn't look at a piece for its individual stats. The idea is a combination of 6 pieces. So 6 pieces that have a good distribution of stats will be useful. If you have a helmet with a lot of crit chance, you can then use a ring that doesn't have any crit chance, even though you really wanted that stat. Or if you have a helmet with a lot of attack, then you can use a ring that maybe didn't roll as much flat attack because you have main stat attack, but you wanted more flat and it's not enough, but you can use it. That's a terrible example, my bad, but I hope you get the idea. Like, the goal is a combination of all 6 pieces and the general distribution, right? So you can have a piece that rolls 5 times into one stat, and then another piece that has it distributed from all stats, and you have all these combinations. Like, having a good solid base of several pieces with the stat combination that you want will help you build characters. It's okay that you don't have all the perfect stats. Like maybe I only want attack and health from this. Maybe I don't want crit chance. Maybe I don't want effectiveness. But maybe there's another character that wants effectiveness and wants attack but doesn't care about the other two. Even though it's not a perfect piece, you might find use for it when you combine 6 pieces, as opposed to searching for a purple piece that will happen to have the exact stats that you want, but really low rolls. And later on, I didn't cover this, but you can modify your stats, but you should not do this lightly. This should be used on, pieces that are very high quality, that you're confident you want to change that stat, and you probably don't want to change it into anything else later on, or you only have one stat that you want to change. Right, to recap, declutter your inventory, right? And then press hide max, enhance equipment, and then when you have clutter, look at it by set. I have a rage set, but I'm not going to be using this. I will delete all of this. This is here just so I can have rage pieces for Ancient Inheritance, because I just need the set bonus. I will delete all of these pieces eventually. Okay, this is temporary clutter just for the event. I don't have any destruction pieces. I don't have, what else did I have? I have these. I'm not very familiar with this set, so I'm not sure what stat combination it needs. So I didn't look at them yet. And probably I should not have farmed them. And if I could, I would just mass send it all to storage. In fact, you know what? I think that's what I will do. This is very annoying. But okay, I'll do this on my own time. I hope this has been informative and helpful. I have not found content on managing inventory. Please, please declutter your inventory. It will make your life so much easier. Do it once a week, on the weekends when you have time. Declutter. And don't go crazy on spending your charms and powder. Some of those pieces that I enhanced today, I would probably not recommend you put resources into. Okay, just check the good chance gear. Don't waste your resources on gear that might be good if it has to be good, or it has to have be decent at the stage you're at the moment you decide to keep going. Like if it's already bad, don't hope for something good. If you're at plus 14 and it's like it's already great, and if it rolls one bad stat, well, that's bad. You go for it. You take the risk because that's the best chance you're gonna get, even though it's expensive. If you're at plus 2, if you're at plus 6 and you already rolled into a bad stat once, or at plus 3 and you rolled into a bad stat once, I would seriously consider the quality of the gear at that stage already, because it's already a disaster waiting to happen. It's going to be very expensive for you long term to keep chasing those pieces. Trash them early. Trash pieces early, even if it's otherworldly quality. Like, yeah, it's like, doesn't matter if it's bad. It's gonna keep going bad. All right, it's been a long video. Have a good one. Happy New Year.